Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back for another Beacon of Leadership episode. We are your Beacon of Leadership. I am RJ Horner, Beacon of Life and Leadership. I'm joined by the rest of our team.
Curtis Leong, Beacon of Positivity.
And Linda Tilson, Beacon of Team Empowerment.
Wonderful. And like I said, we are your Beacon of Leadership. At least we are the Beacon of Leadership team. If you joined us this last weekend, we were excited to host our Beacon inductions and awards ceremony. So we invited many people into our community, actually. 3 people at the end of the day decided to join us. And we're excited about that. Even a small, as Linda says, a small but mighty group. And what we found is, you know what? Yes, it's a small group. We were hoping for a larger presence. We were hoping for more people to join us on this journey. But we had, 3 people who are committed to joining us on this journey. They're not here with us tonight because tonight was just a little bit of a recap of what we put on this weekend. So again, if you got to join us, it was called We Are the Leaders and the Beacon Inductions Ceremony. So this weekend we had Suzanne Plumley. She is a beacon of women's enriched lifestyle. Beacons of women's enriched lifestyle, if I've gotten that correct. We had Halima Mahiuddin. Hard name to get, but I will get it. She is a beacon of global innovation. And then we had Irina Cregan, who is a beacon of tomorrow's youth. So this was exciting because, look, we put on a 5.5-hour presentation between these 6 people, and we were joined by somebody else, and I'll get to that in a minute. But we were joined by our beacons, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. I was engaged the entire time. I was writing notes. I was excited, and I think everybody who joined us was excited too. Does that seem reasonable in saying?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then some. I don't know that you could put it into words how excited and how energized everyone was.
Right. And, a lot of people couldn't join us live, but I've had lots of people reaching out to me afterwards saying, how did it go? Where do I find it? So I've been sending out the link, trying to get people connected. There is excitement around it. So we didn't get the live audience I was hoping for. In fact, some people who bought the VIP tickets didn't even show up. I find that is the way it's going these days. You know what I mean? You can send out all the email messages you want. You can try and engage on Facebook and LinkedIn. But at the end of the day, they're just not that engaged with the social media and the email marketing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm finding the personal connection, the personal touch really gets people involved. Somebody's got their recording popping up. But yeah, so that's the way of the future, I think. And so we're going to have to do something to engage with people one-on-one. And that's really where it works well that we have a small but mighty group, right?
Yep, that's great.
So let's talk through, because I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on our presenters, on those 3 people that we've inducted into the Beacon of Leadership. First one, like I mentioned, was Suzanne Plumley. She is a beacon of women's enriched lifestyle. What did you think of Suzanne and her presentation? Let's go with Curtis first, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, sure. I thought it was very professional. She's very knowledgeable, and I loved her slideshow. It was really good. She did an excellent job on her slides, I think. And she didn't read from the slide. The notes were there, and there was very professional. She had other stories which were attached to the slides, so I thought it was very good. And I think her course to help women is going to be really awesome. And we'll be happy to see that on her platform in the future or the near future. Right?
Yep.
So yeah, she's a great lady. And she came in early and she's the last one to leave. So she's very engaged. It was awesome. Very good lady.
And she's going to be a great addition to our community.
Yep, for sure.
Linda, what were your thoughts?
Oh, what I thought about Suzanne, what she brought was the passion behind the project. It was there from her storytelling. It was there from her heart. And she just, you could see that our other beacons were lit up just listening to her. And I know I was, and I'm thinking, if she can have this much excitement and passion around this project and engage the people in our community to want to come join her in that mission and really share some thoughts and ideas that she could leverage and use, which is to me is a great place to be in this community, because you mentioned the engagement piece. That's how we're different. When you're a smaller group, you can engage
Mhm.
one-on-one, and just on that particular day, everyone was engaging one-on-one,
Absolutely.
having those conversations, which is what we're all about. So watching what you had envisioned, RJ, as being the vision and watching it play out, it couldn't have been more perfect.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Exactly. And, my friend Gary, who also was a Beacon and nominee, Gary Gradley, he didn't join us on this journey, but he did bless us. You know what I mean? He gave us a good blessing, and he said, the right people will show up, and it'll be the right event for the right people, and serve its purpose. So, and I think it did that for sure.
Mhm.
One of the things I wrote down when Suzanne was speaking is, because there are two important days in a person's life: the day they're born and the day they realize why. And Suzanne certainly has realized why she's born, and she's devoted herself to this mission wholeheartedly.
Pretty awesome.
So then we had Irina Cregan, Beacon of Tomorrow's Youth. Now, this is somebody you know quite well, Linda.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about Irina and what you thought of her presentation.
Oh, again, very inspiring. Her energy just, takes over the room about helping tomorrow's youth. And the project that she spoke on, I actually partnered with her on, and we were able to take her vision and put it into a space that was really well received. And we did it internationally. And so to see her with such passion describe that project and what she thought it would be, and what happened when we were there, and just knowing there was more work to do. It just is one of those things that, I met her long ago, and she was my mentee.
Mhm.
So creating the space for a mentee to go into and do it confidently and come out on the other side. And, she's taken it one step further. She started connecting with Suzanne. She wants to
Mhm.
partner with Suzanne and impart some knowledge there. And Suzanne would like to do the same with Irina. Again, two people in our community that are powerfully connecting to do their missions, despite whatever that is. It doesn't matter that they're different. That we all have something that we can share.
Yeah. For sure.
Absolutely. Curtis, what did you think of Irina? First of all, she was very professional, very enthusiastic. So what are your thoughts?
Pretty much same as Linda there. It's pretty awesome. I was actually trying to figure out some stuff for Facebook to get more engagement at the time. So I was trying to do the technical side of our business when she was talking, but she's a very enthusiastic person. I think she's a great addition as well. And I'm happy to have her with us as well in the community. She's very good. She has her own kids as well. And I think that will help drive her to push forward with her business as well.
And
I'm
as I
glad we can
wrote,
support.
sorry.
So I'm glad we can support them too, right? So it's awesome.
Absolutely. That's exactly it. Because they're small, a small group, we're going to be able to add greater value to them. And therefore, I think we can add greater value to our own community, right? So she's a big proponent of John Maxwell,
Yep.
and as am I.
Yes.
And so John Maxwell, we talk about the why, and Irina talked about the why. So, and then I wrote down the quote, because again, I was taking a lot of notes, trying to get as much information from these people as possible.
Yep.
And so I wrote down the quote: "When your why gets stronger, the way gets easier." And that certainly has been true for Irina. She knows she knows the area that she is serving, and certainly because of that, she can help change tomorrow's youth and help engage them and help change their future, which I believe the children are the future, like Whitney Houston says. So absolutely. And then as far as serving our community, she also touched on a quote about going together. When she didn't touch on the quote, I wrote it down because of something she said about working together. And so I wrote down a quote. I know it is an African proverb, but it's called, "If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together." And I think that's what we're doing with this community. And then our third beacon that we had was Halima Mahiuddin. And she is the beacon of global innovation. And I'm very excited about this one. And I know she's, a good friend of yours as well, Linda, but I'm going to talk a little bit about her first, just because she has struck a chord with me, because I'm trying to reach a larger market. I really am. I'm trying to think globally. In fact, one of the things I said was, I want to change the world. And then Steve Jobs says, it's strange to think that the people who want to change the world are usually the ones who do. Because if we have that type of vision, if we have a global mindset, we can play a bigger part. We can learn to affect change in a bigger way. She has such a passion for reaching out and serving on a world stage. And that's what I love. And she's going to teach us how to do that. She's going to help us think on a larger scale to help more people by connecting as many people as we can. So I can't wait to see between these three beacons, the amazing work that comes out of it. So Linda, I'll let you speak last on Halima, because again, you know her so well. Curtis, what did you think of Halima?
Very powerful lady, actually. I thought she had like some really cool things to say. Some of the stuff she was saying was like beyond what I ever would think about, honestly. So it did give some aha moments, what she said. What were they exactly? I don't remember, but I wrote them down somewhere here. But yeah, I think she's another great addition. I think everybody who came out for the weekend are definitely going to make a difference for themselves and for us and the community that we're serving here. Just a matter of the ball rolling a little bit faster for us, basically. But yeah, I think she's a wonderful lady. Is she trying to be a doctor? I think, is that right, Linda?
She is writing her dissertation.
Yes, that's right.
Dissertation currently on. So once that's complete and once that's not necessarily, I don't know if it's graded or how it comes about, but she submits that and then it gets
her
approved
doctorate
or something like that in order to receive your doctorate.
Cool. That'd be awesome.
So Linda,
We'll have
again,
a doctor
somebody,
in our
yes,
mix.
somebody you're deeply connected with. Tell us about her.
Yes, and so I couldn't say everything that needs to be said about Halima in just a few minutes, but what I will say is that she is in the academic world, but she also is a capacity builder. She's insightful, intuitive on how operations you can optimize them, make them more efficient. And she does that just like this. She does it that seamlessly. So you could put a problem statement about your organization. You could put a problem statement about a societal view, and she will be able to piece together what needs to happen. So she's very much able to come to proposing solutions, and she does it in a way that's that she can articulate it, that other people can get on and understand. And she does it with such passion that you can't not get behind it. I was talking to her about something the other day, and she picked up on it immediately, started asking all the questions. And I said, yep, I answered that. Very good point. And we were quickly in sync on this thing that we were discussing. And,
nice.
And she does that with everything. So she's a great resource to have in a community, just because she's always forward thinking. She's thinking about it on that grander global scale. So it isn't just about the what's in front of us and what's happening now. It's about what could be, what do you need to get there? And so she's a systems thinker, hands down.
Wow. Like a mechanic or soon to be doctor. Figures out the problems, finds the problem, fixes it, and gives you a good prescription, basically. Pretty cool.
That's a good way to describe it, or at least sum it up. Because again, I can't wait. So one of the things we're going to be doing in this community is hosting masterminds. And so obviously we're going to be connecting these beacons together and see what comes out of it. I'm sure there's going to be some other innovation and creative ideas and some products or there's going to be a way that we're going to change and serve the world to the greatest capacity. About building leaders, right? That's what we're trying to do. And so we've united 3 so far, and we're going to continue to do so. So the one thing I want to talk about is our keynote speaker. And obviously he impressed us all. First of all, he was vulnerable enough to talk about a story that was deeply, intensely personal to him. I'm not going to tell anybody the story here, and I don't want any of you guys to either, because I'd like for people to watch it. But sure. Nathan Spiteri came out and he talked about his journey to TEDx, how he got, his story is so passionate, so purposeful, something that is not talked about in our society. So people wanted to capture that. People wanted to tell this story. And so he did get onto the TEDx stage, and he's going to help other people, even though he isn't joining us as a beacon at this time.
Yep.
He is going to help connect people on that journey to TEDx. He's going to help us talk about that and figure that out. So,
fantastic.
Yeah, Curtis, what is your impression, or what did you think of his presentation?
Actually, the story is very powerful. As a person, I think he's grown a lot. The key point I thought was that when he thought he was at his lowest, he wasn't. He found a new low, and that's when he started to change his life around more quickly. But I just think that some of the points he made, there is a big problem in society with what happened to him and his life, and he is actually trying to change it with the right channels. I think he'll get there. It takes time. It's a big problem worldwide. So.
And speaking of worldwide, it's this TEDx stage is a worldwide stage, right? So, I mean, you get on one stage and you can take your message to a global audience. So,
for sure. So
Linda, you also help bring Nathan into our world. What are your thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. So he is an advocate, hands down. So, he may have a personal story that he advocates for, but he also moves into other areas in that experience that he's had. And what I appreciate most about Nathan is the fact that he's able to and wants to help support other people in a community setting. And that was happening with our beacons. He was connecting the dots so that we could have people within our community have exposure and connection of how they could best prepare to do their own TED Talk. So that to me was impressive, that he's always willing to roll up his sleeves, to volunteer his time, to connect people to resources of people that they should know. And he just really does that with kindness. And he's very dedicated in the things that he commits to. And so I really appreciate and admire about all those things about him.
Oh, cool.
Absolutely. And so we had an amazing day. Like I said, it was 5.5 hours where we got to have our little say. By the way, Curtis, I loved your story. I can't wait to hear it again. Because it was fun, it was interesting, and it talked about the journey of becoming a beacon of leadership. Loved it. I thoroughly loved it.
Awesome.
Thank you very much for that. I think you've written our chapter. So that's two of the things. So we're going to host masterminds within our community. We do have a membership for sale out there. I want people to look into that. And then we are going to start writing a book, an anthology where each of us are going to contribute a chapter. I think many of our beacons will contribute a chapter. I'm looking forward to the great work that all of us are doing. And I think with the help of Nathan, I'd love to see all of us on that TEDx stage and start taking our message global. And I saw your face go there, Curtis, because I don't know what you're thinking. It's probably a lot for you to consider. But listen, I listen to you every morning, and you know what? You are building a message there, right? And yes, you're reading other people's stories. So you know what? Maybe you go out there and read a collection of other people's works in telling a story, an educational story, right? Because as Nathan pointed out to us, TED stands for technology, education, and design. Is it?
Design,
I think so. So if you have a story or a message in that area or any one of those areas, you can find yourself on the
and
TEDx
the TEDx
stage.
is everything in between. That's right.
In a way. No, TEDx is I think it's local. I think that's what
is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like everything in between.
No,
of
whereas
TED
the
Talks.
TED is the international stage. So TEDx is all of these stages all across the world.
Oh, right.
And
Like
then,
each town and city.
Right. And then
province
TED
or
is a
country.
conference that happens once a year. And you
okay.
pretty much come from those, you're cherry picked
Yeah.
from those presentations that
cool.
really resonated over the year.
Excellent.
So yeah, that's how the TEDx stage works.
Fantastic.
So that's what we're putting together, and that's our community. This went longer than I thought it would, but I had a funny feeling once we started talking about these people, there was a lot to talk about.
Yep.
So
Sure.
we've invited these 3 people, so that brings us to a total of 6 beacons within our community, and
Cool.
you're going to be hearing from them because we're going to start teaching master classes as well. So we have a lot to teach within this community, and there's where the membership really has its value, because we're already starting to plan our next event, which is going to be in April. We haven't come up with the date yet,
In April.
We'll have
Perfect.
another event in July, which I believe that's going to be another induction ceremony. So please, guys, stick with us. Come into our community. I've already started compiling a list of people who would make good beacons, who belong in our community, who we need to unite within our community. I want you guys to do the same thing. Start putting that list together of new people who we can reach out to and bring them into our zone. And just even at this point, say, look, here we are a beacon of leadership. You can find us here and learn more about it, so that we start bringing them into our sphere and
Cool.
bringing them into our orbit, right?
Yep.
And they can learn more about us, and maybe by July, when we're ready to host our next induction ceremony, these
Love
people can
more.
be, and we're going to have it figured out by then. We're going to figure out exactly what we offer our community and how we can serve them best. So
Awesome.
again, this was just the beginning, right? And we're looking forward to the amazing work we're doing here. I know I am.
All right. Awesome.
So once again, I'm RJ Horner, Beacon of Life and Leadership.
I'm Curtis, Beacon of Positivity, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and smash the bell.
And Linda Tilson, Beacon of Team Empowerment.
And we are your beacon of leadership. So don't forget to like Curtis says, ring my bell, and join us for more. This community has some exciting things to offer, and we're looking to serve you better.
Have a good night.